Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to a News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. Communities across Trinidad and Tobago benefit from the work of the Citizen Security Program. CARICOM seeks to commission a strategic framework on adolescent pregnancy. President Anthony Carmona calls on the Scouts to make a difference in their schools and communities. Welcome. There are several plans for the Ministry of Communications and its subsidiaries that are being led by Senator the Honorable Gerald Hadid. These were revealed by the minister as he spoke exclusively to News 4.
The Ministry of Communications is in good hands and is expected to exceed expectations under the stewardship of Senator the Honorable Gerald Hadid. He took up the post of Minister of Communications in September 2013 after he served as chairman of the Airports Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking to News 4 on Monday, the Honourable Minister spoke of adjusting to his new portfolio at the Ministry of Communications, which he refers to as the Ministry of Information.
Well, how could I put it? It's really different from what I was accustomed doing. As you know, I came out from the private sector. Government is quite different. There are a lot of protocols that you have to continue following. But on the whole, I like it. It's very interesting. Ministry of Information is a very key ministry to be able to advise the public on what the government has done and what the plans are for the future.
Minister Hadid said properly informing the public at all times is crucial, as there exists a lot of misinformation which is leaked to citizens.
And what you have to do is to ensure that your information, which always has to be correct and truthful, reaches the people.
The Minister of Communications was then questioned about plans which he hoped to see come to fruition for his ministry.
The most important area that I would like to see is for us to develop Channel 4 as a public broadcasting information division for the ministry, where we would do a lot of programs that would allow the population, the NGOs, the churches, do some institutional teaching for children who will be sitting in the CXCs, 11+. And we want to be able to be using Channel 4, that is, to be more informative and educational wise, you know.
However, the minister knows this is no easy task, but he says he is ready for the challenge.
I'm fortunate that we have very, very good people at the ministry, especially GSL and GSD. And as you know, we have CNMG. And to be able to give the information that the population needs to know, and to be able to be the unit to deliver the messages to the people.
Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
CARICOM is seeking to commission a strategic framework on adolescent pregnancy, looking to chart a course of action to educate, empower, support girls and reduce the incidence of adolescent pregnancy in the region. According to the CARICOM Secretariat, teen pregnancy is on the increase.
On Monday, a CARICOM team met with the United Nations Population Fund UNFPA at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Port of Spain for a special regional consultation on adolescent pregnancy. Representing CARICOM Secretary General Erwin LaRocque was Dr. Douglas Slater, Assistant Secretary General Human and Social Development CARICOM. He said the purpose of the consultation was to explore the opportunities and challenges in addressing adolescent pregnancy, which has been identified by the Caribbean Community CARICOM as a priority issue. Dr. Slater said despite individual successes, the overall figure of teen pregnancy in the region was alarming.
The issue which we are gathered here to contemplate, that of adolescent pregnancy in the Caribbean community, is one which strikes a negative blow to our development at several levels. Our member states have in various ways been grappling with the issue and have in some instances realized some success. But the picture remains a less than pleasant one for our region. This consultation is an important facet in the CARICOM UNFPA strategy initiative and is aimed at galvanizing interest, advocacy, perspectives, and support for the delineation of a CARICOM regional strategy to address the reduction in teenage pregnancy.
Dr. Slater said the issues of teen pregnancy could not be sidelined as it impacted heavily on the country's development.
The report of the CARICOM Commission on Youth Development, endorsed by heads of government in January 2010, while recognizing that the majority of youth make a successful transition to adulthood, lamented the wastage in human resources caused by negative behaviors and unfortunate situations in which youth find themselves. The report included a cost-benefit analysis of these negative situations. It noted, for example, that delaying pregnancy in favor of further development of human resources increases the economic and social prospects of a country over the course of the mother's lifetime. It noted, for example, that adolescent motherhood costs the Bahamas 0.9% of the country's GDP and 3.9% of GDP over the lifetime of the mothers.
The CARICOM and UNFPA consultation on adolescent pregnancy was organized with support from the government of Trinidad and Tobago. The Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, who could not attend the event but forwarded her speaking notes, said she was confident that, quote, "Together we can rise to the challenge and treat with this issue head on. Our success or lack thereof will depend solely on the serious efforts we make." End of quote. Felicia Wilson, More News 4.
More news after the break. Welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago Scouts are making a difference. This as they subscribe to good morals and values. President Anthony Carmona is calling on the Scouts to positively influence their schools and communities as he presented a number of them with special awards.
Scouting has proven itself to be one of the most important institutions for the development of the youth of our beloved country because of its extraordinary power to be a force for good in their own lives and in any community.
Scouting in Trinidad and Tobago has existed for the last 102 years. According to the president of the Scout Association, young persons who join Scouting are on the right track. He says it prepares them to live their lives based on a timeless and unchanging foundation of values that are hardly found elsewhere, such as trustworthiness, loyalty, honesty, kindness, and the respect and dignity due each and every person. On Tuesday, His Excellency President Anthony Carmona hosted a special award ceremony in recognition of the Boy Scouts of Trinidad and Tobago.
You are the persons that we are serving, our Cub Scouts and our Scouts. As leaders, we are serving you. And we want you to know we appreciate very much the work that you have put in to be one of the awardees this afternoon. We trust, as the Commodore said a while ago and our President, that you begin at this age now to appreciate your role in society.
The National Scout Commissioner said the country needs its young leaders to take on the mantle of volunteering.
Enough persons are not seeing the importance of volunteerism outside in our country. We need to spread the word and we need to ensure that persons take on the role from a young age to become volunteers, not only for the Scout movement, but to become volunteers in our society. Too many of us really believe when we reach 60 and 70, we will volunteer. At that time, it's very tiring for you. And if you think you're going to volunteer at that age to handle some of these Cub Scouts, you really have to be in good health.
In the Scout movement, there are 3 sections for young boys and girls, moving from Cub Scouts, which cater to 7 to 11 years, the Scouts from 11 to 15 years, and the Venture Scouts for persons 15 to 19 years. President Carmona holds the title of Chief Scout of Trinidad and Tobago. His Excellency apologized to the Scouts on behalf of the adult population of Trinidad and Tobago for the negative events which have been taking place across the country. He, however, said not every adult is responsible.
I am heartened by the fact that we have young men and women here who will make a difference and change that direction where many of our adults have gone. I think you epitomize a sense of responsibility, discipline, love, and humanity.
President Carmona said there are many persons in society who simply do not care or are indolent and seek to blame everyone but themselves for what is taking place in the country.
You have showed them the way, by way of service and by way of everyday discipline. You continue to demonstrate that hard work, sacrifice, and discipline are the mantra by which we shall all live, because it invariably would lead to success.
His Excellency called on the Scouts to continue to listen to their troop leaders and parents and make a difference in their schools because they have been entrusted and shouldered with the responsibility of leadership. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Communities across Trinidad and Tobago have been benefiting from the work of the Citizen Security Program. Recently, its members came together to celebrate another year of service and recognized those among them for their work.
It has been more than 6 years since the Citizen Security Program began its thrust to ensure that citizens feel a sense of safety and security within their own country. The CSP is an initiative of the Ministry of National Security, guided by the objectives of contributing to the reduction in crime and violence in 22 high-needs pilot communities across Trinidad and Tobago, through the financing of preventative interventions addressing the most proximal and modifiable risk factors. The program is being executed through the financing of 3 components, which are community action, assistance to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and institutional strengthening of the Ministry of National Security. On Monday, the CSP end-of-year dinner and awards function was held at the Hilton Trinidad, bringing together the entire CSP family to celebrate another year of excellent work while strengthening relationships for another projected year of citizen-centered service. The program began in 2006 with its design phase. After 2 years of analyzing and sifting through various pieces of information, data and reports, it was decided that 22 partner communities would be focused on over a 6-year period. It was a journey of engaging in a lot of conversations with communities, building of relationships and building of trust.
When we first started to implement, we were a couple months away from a national election, and people were very skeptical about our motives. And the elections came and the election went, and our very dedicated community action officers continue to engage in the communities and continue to work diligently to build that relationship and build that trust so that we could get the work done.
He said in the last 5+ years, 766 projects have been completed under the program, directly impacting on the lives of 54,000 citizens.
This could not become a reality without the very hard work and dedication of you, the community members.
Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security, Senator the Honorable Mbal Mohini, praised the hard work and dedication of the CSP members.
What really amazes me is the fantastic scope of involvement of the Citizens Security Program. Community-based assistance or with security, capacity building for the national security, seeking to, in their own way, get within the communities get participation of members of the communities, reach out to our citizens, reach out to our youth.
The Honourable Minister called on those in attendance to focus on two groups in society that could be found in each of their communities. These are those who are less privileged as well as the youth. During the award ceremony, several men and women were recognized for partnering with the Citizen Security Program for many years.
We look at the benefits that have come out of all those who have contributed much to the success over the past 5 years or so of this program. But it is also important that we award and recognize those who have given of their time, given of their capacity, and made that positive statement that I am willing to come forward to make a contribution to the upliftment, to the solution of the problems that afflict our communities, to provide some kind of hope to those who have grown up in environments where there's much hopelessness.
To learn more about the work of the Citizen Security Program, visit its website, csp.gov.tt. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Sport news when we return.
Never leave items like MP3 players, portable DVD players, laptops and briefcases on view inside your vehicle. It is an open invitation for a thief. Don't leave them on show. If you cannot take them with you, place them in the trunk of your car. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Welcome back. The battle for places in the final of the National FA Trophy competition was contested on Wednesday at the Ato Boldon Stadium in Couva. In the end, two familiar rivals from the same area will vie for the coveted prize. Wayne Cunningham has the highlights from the semi-finals.
Malabar FC was the last Super League team in with a chance of reaching the final of the National FA Trophy competition when they faced Pro League outfit Central FC in the semi-finals on Wednesday at the Ato Boldon Stadium in Couva. Malabar opened the scoring in the 4th minute through Gorian Hiley, but that was cancelled out by Johan Peltier in the 37th. Hiley made sure his team had a half-time lead with his second in the 40th. The Easterners were running rampant in the second, with Hiley at the heart of their moves. They were heading for an historic win, but in the 87th minute, Malabar lapsed. As Central goalkeeper Jean-Michael Williams sends all forward for the free kick, and the big defender, Jamal Jack, sneaks in to score. Jack sending the game to the shootout with a well-taken goal. Williams then took charge of things between the uprights. The national goalkeeper saved as some of his teammates scored. Central FC rolling into the final with a 3-2 win in the shootout. Game 2 was an all-pro league matchup between Northeast Stars and W Connection FC. The first half was a dull and totally uninspiring affair, with neither team looking interested in attack. 0-0 was the score at halftime. A good old-fashioned bullet of a free kick from Alvin Jones brought the game to life in the second half. National goalkeeper Cleon John did well to get a hand to the rocket, but could not keep it out. 1-0 W Connection in the 70th minute. That is what sparked some action. Northeast with a chance to get on the score sheet, but it was not taken. Instead, it will be Connection going 2-0 up. Stefano Rizal with a piercing run, which ends with Hashim Arcia putting the ball past John. Once again, the goalkeeper got a touch, but only enough to put the Neil Benjamin attempt into the part of Arcia. The Savanetta boys sealed the deal as the Northeast faithful headed for the exits. Cilo da Silva Santos with goal number 3. John could not get a hand to this one. 3-0 W Connection, the final score. It will be an all-cover battle. Yes, an all-cover battle on Wednesday, December 18th, when Central FC takes on W Connection for the FA Trophy. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
What a semi-final indeed. Thank you, Wayne Cunningham. More news when we return. Welcome back. The support structure for parents throughout the country is being extended as parents in Penal now have access to the Ministry of Community Development's Community Mediation Parental Support Program. Minister of Community Development, the Honorable Winston Peters, was on hand to celebrate the launch of the Penal arm with the residents.
It's often said that parenting has no manual, but the Ministry of Community Development's Community Mediation Parental Support Program is seeking to make parenting easier for citizens. The program has seen the establishment of parental support groups in Couva, Point Fortin, Sangre Grande, and San Juan, just to name a few, and now Penal is the latest community with a parental support group. Minister Peters, speaking at the launch of the Penal group, says the importance of good parenting habits and its effect on a country should never be underestimated.
It is said that the strength of a nation is derived from its integrity or from the integrity of its homes. So today, by requesting the presence of every parent here, we are attempting to create a positive impact on each home so that our nation can be strengthened in a more meaningful way.
He adds the support group should go a long way in providing the support structure necessary for good parenting.
The Ministry of Community Development, through the community mediation programs, aim to support the parents of this community to establish stronger family and community networks by working together peacefully. And for this reason, I applaud the decision of Community Mediation Program to institute a parental support group in the Penal area. And I am sure that this group would have as great an impact as the other 8 parental support groups that have been functioning in other parts of the country.
The Community Development Minister says the support group is just one of the many services offered by the ministry and urges parents and community activists to reach out to his ministry and take advantage of the services.
The Ministry of Community Development has embarked on and continue to strategize techniques for building a peaceful and caring nation from a community perspective. Each division, program, and service within the ministry strives towards developing our nation along these lines. The Ministry of Community Development has always focused on bridging the gaps in all aspects of developing and building more resilient communities through tangible and intangible methods. The Ministry of Community Development facilitates a number of people-centered programs that you can access. Programs like the Adult Education and Community Action for Revival and Empowerment, or CARE, are educational and social initiatives aimed at educating and addressing the basic needs of communities.
Community mediation services is one of the most accessed services offered by the Ministry of Community Development, with approximately 20,000 persons accessing services at the community mediation centers in 2012. Persons interested in accessing this service can contact the Community Mediation Services Division at 623-6369 or 623-0839, extension 3503, 3504, or 3505. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
And that was the Ministry of Communities Development, Mediation, Parental Support Program. And that's how we end our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.